Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady D.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Does your dominant come out to stop that argument?
That's a good question.
I know, right?
and I can back that up to, okay, we talked about what makes a good dominant inside and outside the scene. I discuss a lot of the inside the scenes. Outside the scene, it's responsibility was one of my key words. With great power comes great responsibility, right?
Exactly.
I have the power.
You do.
To use my dominance to shut it down.
Yes, you do.
As a dominant, do I want to take a concern she has with our life, our entire life, whether it's DS, vanilla, whatever, and say, nope, shut up, not listening. This is how it is. Is that the kind of platform I want to have? Is that going to be conducive to a lifelong DS? Lifelong relationship. So I don't use my power in that way.
Okay.
Because
so,
you know what? She internally, she 100% has a reason she's upset.
Right.
100%. I want to understand why she's upset.
Right. And that's what I do. Well, I'm going to say 99% of the time. I'm sure there's a 1% somewhere where I don't.
Right.
But again, I'm not as strict of a dom as you are. You have your line is very thin. You're either on this side of the line or you're on that side.
Black and white. It's not always black and white, but
right.
I like black and
You've
white.
said it before. Yeah. You are black and white. There's no gray area. I feel I have a lot of gray area. And so therefore that was a question. Again, I wanted for me, because I don't know. I've seen you all in your DS dynamic. You be the dom. You're strict as hell.
Yeah.
This is what I've said. This is what you're going to do. This is how it's going to be. So that question was for me purely. Outside of that, I've never seen you all have an argument, a disagreement, a spout.
We disagree. Anything. We don't have shouting matches.
Okay.
We have disagreements. We don't have arguments. There I can count on one hand, maybe like twice, 2 fingers, 3 fingers.
Right.
In the years we've been together, where it's got to a point, and what we do, I shut her. I don't shut her down. I say, this isn't working.
Right.
We're just fighting.
Right.
I'm not going to continue having this discussion or this argument.
That's what we do.
Yeah, we need to go all separate ways.
Yep.
We need to cool off. Maybe that's an hour. Maybe that's a day. Maybe that's 2 days. But we don't let it linger longer than a couple days at most.
Right.
And we're able to continue living our lives and be amicable and be lovey.
Right.
Because we know we're going to come back to it. And we've had time to process, and we're going to figure it out.
Right.
I 100% trust that we're going to figure it out.
And that's usually the way. And again, going back on, I don't want people thinking me and Lady D fight and argue and all the time. We don't. I think in the 6 years we've been together, I can't even recall it. I'm sure there's been one argument.
I can think of times I couldn't even tell you what it's about. That's how irrelevant it is at this point in our lives.
Right.
I couldn't even tell you what the argument is about. I just know there's been a couple of them.
Right. And we don't fight, we don't argue, we don't scream, but we have the misunderstandings, we have the miscommunication.
We were just talking. We both had not with each other, but with our partners.
Right.
There is a misunderstanding. It was 100% misunderstanding in both cases.
And that's what we do. We will start to talk about it, and if one of us notices it's getting a little heated more than what we wanted, we do the exact same thing. We call a timeout.
Yep.
You go to this room, I'll go to this room. When we're ready, we'll meet back in the middle, kind of thing. So
Exactly.
Okay, awesome. How do you stay in the Dom mindset? Now, because I'm gonna tell a story.
Okay.
We both work full-time jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We both have kids
Yeah.
in and out of the house. We both have hobbies. We both do what we enjoy doing. Life itself gets extremely fucking busy. I sometimes really relax on the dominant side. And it takes Lady D to poke and poke and poke to get me back. Fuck. So how do you, on a day-to-day, you go to work every day, you go to the gym, you have the kids, you do all of this. How do you stay in a Dom mindset?
It takes intentional effort. It's a job. I think we've even said this on
we've said it. It's a second full-time job.
It's a full-time job. You have to be purposeful about it. It has to be a conscious effort.
Right.
And over time, it becomes a little more natural. But then I think we've gotten better at this over the last 6 months to a year, where we have these little blips. We actually recently made a contract change. And before we were talking about changing it, because there's kind of a couple topics that I wanted a section. There's a lot of sections. I wanted a section on my specific rules and responsibilities, not necessarily my limits,
right,
or what I'm allowed or rules I'm allowed or not allowed to do. But as a dominant, these are my kind of expectations.
Yes, that's it. Expectations.
Yes. Well, one of them, which I got from you, and this is something I've kind of always done. Okay. I'm always a gentleman, not always, but I'll open car doors.
Yes.
Open doors, right?
Yep.
And I was maybe 50, 60, 70% of the time I was doing it. It wasn't always a thing. I didn't make it a point to, no matter what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to jump ahead of you or whatever.
Right.
We put that in the contract.
Perfect.
And every day, at least once a day, there's a time at which I need to open the door for her. And to us, we know what that means.
Yep.
100% of the time, this is what I'm doing. It's because of our DS, because of the contract. That is my responsibility.
Yep.
So we get those reminders every day, the little
exactly.
things. Making me a plate. If we're out, say we're over here for a party, she wants to make my plate.
I think I made your plate a while ago.
Right. And you're
sorry,
playing. No, you're
sorry,
playing.
Zora.
You're playing at my point where for me, if I'm at a party where I'm wherever, I can get up and make my own plate. It's not a big deal. Just relax. Not a big deal. She wants to do that.
Right.
She wants to be in that submissive role. So those little things we do day to day remind us, because even if we don't play every week, or even if a month goes by, there's still those kind of little tidbits.
Yep.
That
whether it be
we're still
tasks or actions or something that happens.
We use the obedience app.
Okay. Yeah, I know you all have used that for a while, correct?
Love it. The first thing I put on there, she has to drink 2 waters a day. Okay. That wasn't me being, oh, you better drink 2 waters. It was something we talked about. I was like, okay, let's try this app. Couple waters, get you to be a little healthier or whatever.
Yep.
She checks that every single day. 90+% of the time she hits her 2 waters, sometimes 3 a day. That is her reminder day to day that we're in this DS. She's doing that because we've made a requirement. If it goes in the contract or it goes in that app, that's
your black and white.
Yeah.
It has to be done.
Yep.
Okay.
That's our day-to-day reminders.
Nice. All right. Let's see here. Before I move on to my next one.
This is not an interview, so how do you stay in the Dom mindset?
That's what I was going to say. Before I move on to the next one, do you have anything? How do I stay? Sometimes it's tough. And I honestly haven't thought about how I stay in it, because really I don't know. I ain't going to lie. For us, so one of Lady D's tasks is, and she has done this since day one. She started it on day one, and then it got put into the contract. She makes my breakfast, or I'm sorry, used to make my breakfast. Now it's just lunch. She used to feed me really, really well until I gained weight. And so now I came
Is she
back.
starving you now?
No, I told her what I need. This is what I need. But she puts together my lunch every day before I go to work. In my lunchbox, there is a note handwritten by her.
Yeah.
Every day. So when I get to work and I'm pulling out my lunch, which I know what it is because that's what I've told her I wanted. Occasionally she'll mix it up and throw something different in. But I'm pulling out my lunch. I'm putting it in the refrigerator. I get to my workstation, my computer. Before the computer gets open, before anything gets open, I pull out my note and I read it. And in this note, it can be about anything. I don't have any guidelines or any standards. So if I'm slacking on my job as a dominant, this is her way of telling me she needs something or
she'll write it
something.
like on the note or something.
She'll put it in the note. She is better at writing and versus face to face on those type things.
Yeah.
So normally it's, how she slept at night. Did she sleep good? Did she get a good night's sleep? Was she up a lot?
It's hard to every day to write you a little note. You got to come up with
Oh, it's not a little
you
note.
Can't just.
This is a mini legal pad sheet, front and back.
Oh, wow.
Now, it's not every line, she writes.
Right, but it's not just, I love you, have a great day.
It's more not, it's not a, I love you, have a great day. It is a, it could be anything. I slept good last night. I'm feeling really good. The kid was good getting up this morning. Everything went fine.
I love that.
I'm doing this today at work. I'm having a lunch with one of my coworkers. This is what's going on. I talked to, so-and-so, and we're trying to set up a podcast episode. Or it could be, I don't feel that you're meeting my submissive sides. It could be anything. But that is one of her tasks every day when I go to work.
Has she ever missed it?
Yes.
What's her punishment?
It varies. And again, this is where I've got to do better because Southern boy, we had a conversation with some friends last night. And that's what she meant. Southern boy. I'm a Southern boy. I'm naturally kind-hearted.
Right.
So the days
Big teddy bear,
the days that she has missed it, she normally realizes it before I get to work.
Okay.
95% of the time, she realizes it. She sends me a message. I'm sorry, I forgot your note. I was running behind this morning, or I was having trouble finding something to wear, or the kid didn't want to get up.
Right.
She always, when she does that, and this is where I'm in the wrong, but when she does that and she has a legitimate reason, I usually let it slide.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with letting it slide. We're all humans, right?
Correct. And
you're not going to bend her over and smack her 10 times with a freaking paddle for missing a note one time.
But on those times, should it be something of, okay, and tomorrow on top of my note, I want you to write, I will not forget your note 10 times or whatever. You know, it don't have to be a physical, painful type thing. The times that she didn't realize it, there's been, orgasm denial. I've denied her orgasms. I've played with her and got her to that point and said, no, you can't come. There has been a few spankings because of it.
I've never heard you say, no, she can't come when we're like at the club.
I usually I want her to have fun at the club. But those type things usually happen.
But you kind of one-on-one.
Right, one-on-one kind of things. So but I, especially on days that I can relate, you didn't sleep good. You woke up, you're extremely tired. You're dragging ass. You're running a little behind. You look at your watch. Oh, shit, I forgot to get this lunch made. Do I really want to take the 5 to 10 minutes? I don't know how long it takes her to write it. I'm already 15 minutes late. Now, if I do this, I'm adding to 20 minutes now. So a lot of those things I will let go. But,
not all rules are created equal. They don't all hold the same value. And that's why when I said her ultimate punishment, there's a few set rules or whatever that if she broke, sure. But if she misses a water's not in our contract. But we treat like that obedience app kind of like just as almost as important as she needs to keep up with it. If she misses a water, she loses a point. Now,
Right.
we have a point
And then
system
after
where
so
after
many
so many
points.
points, she gets X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But she misses water, she loses a point.
Right.
I'm not chaining her up and beating her ass because she missed a
Right.
water. You know?
Right. Yep. But that's, so going back to your question, that was we kind of veered way the hell off. But going back to your question, it's those things. That was in our contract, our very first original contract. That was one of her expectations to make. She didn't want to open a door. So although normally through the week we don't go anywhere together, so we don't get that. We get the lunch and the letter, and then usually sometimes that's all the DS for a day, depending on how the night goes.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. But it's still, that one thing. So it's a little harder for me sometimes to stay in the Dom mindset.
You do this podcast, right? You do the demos.
Yes.
You play at the club with random people.
Yep.
Right? And you give them kind of a taste. Does it ever feel like you got the kind of fun, you do the stuff one-on-one in the bedroom, the real raunchy, sexy DS, or even some of the rules that aren't in the bedroom, and then you mix in all these other things I just list? It's almost, it's part of the job.
Right.
And does it get in the way? So I'm thinking about, we do wax. We love doing wax.
Right.
But we've been doing so much wax because we have had demos and photo shoots and testing and doing it for friends. Over here, we loved it. Don't get me wrong. Love coming over here.
Right.
But that's a task. That's a job. That's not us at home playing with wax.
Right.
So does that kind of stuff ever get in the way of your dynamic?
I don't think it does. When it comes to what we do at the club or at the dungeon, we don't do a whole lot of that here. Mostly because the place that we have our dungeon is our Airbnb. Normally it is booked up, quite a bit. We have to actually go in and block days that we want to not have it booked. And it's a lot to set up. So like if we're here at home and ultimately, the kid needs to be gone. We don't want to do that kind of stuff, with him here in the house.
Right.
So if it was a spur of the moment thing, it would take me 30 minutes to an hour to get everything set up. That would tire me a little bit. I would be a little wore down. But as long as it wasn't late or as long as I wasn't tired, I would be okay with it. But a lot of it is just how we feel, by the time the night comes along or whatever, we're both usually tired, exhausted.
Yeah.
And we'll try it tomorrow. What we do as far as our dynamic, I incorporate it into sex. So our scenes, our BDSM scenes aren't really floggers and paddles and whips and stuff. We do that at the club.
Okay.
That is our BDSM scene.
I'm literally learning this about you right now.
Right.
As long as we've known each other. Yeah.
When we're at home, I'm dominant during sex because I learned from day one when I met Lady D on day one, sitting in my truck, she told me, I want to be dominated during sex. If you don't have any dominance about you, the sex is going to suck.
Yeah.
So I will do the orgasm control. She has to ask every time before she orgasms. So that's one way I'm being
love
dominant.
that about y'all. She starts giggling and gets loud and high pitched and she, Master, can I come?
Yep.
And then sometimes you got to count really fast.
Yeah.
I'll tell her really fast because she's right there.
Yeah. And she
goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Those are funny. But that's one way that I'm dominant during sex, during foreplay, during any of it. Other times is the way that sometimes I hold her. Obviously you can go down and start eating out somebody's pussy, but do you take your hands, reach up, grab their hips and keep them from moving?
Yeah.
Do you pull them as tight into you as you can to where they can't move, where they can't wiggle? Now they're restrained. They can move their hands, they can move their arms, they can move their feet. But from hip to
You're
knee,
in control.
They can't move.
Yep.
So I do that kind of things to be a dominant. During sex, sometimes I will grab her hands, pull them up over her head and just hold them there. So now she can't move her arms.
They love that.
Right. It's those kind of things. It's she says that there's a look when I'm really having sex and I'm in my dom space. She says, I have a look. I don't know what this look looks like. I probably don't want to know what this looks like, but she says I have this look. And sometimes that gives off enough dom vibes that it helps her submissive.
You brought up dom space, so we're going to go off another tangent.
Yes. No, I thought about that a while ago.
I can count on one hand actual what I would consider dom space, but I guess it can be different.
I want to know what it was. I want to hear about it.
The first time I remember, it hits me when I'm in a sadistic mindset. I don't know what brings out the sadistic mindset, but generally I don't have that.
Okay.
1 out of 10, 1 out of 20 times where we're playing. Well, I guess you could include sex in that. So if you include sex and the kink play, which we generally do separate, we'll do the kink and the dominant stuff during sex. But a lot of times we have scene, then we have sex.
Right.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So
we're at home, yeah.
If you kind of count all that, maybe 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 30 times, I'll just get this mindset where I've lost that connection. We were talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
That connection where she's my forever person. I love her to death, DS or not.
Right.
Love her. She's the person. I lose that connection mentally where she's just
a person.
She's just a person. And that's when I generally can get deeper and I get more sadistic where I can be mean to her. Don't get me wrong, it's within our boundaries, right?
Yes.
We've talked about it plenty of times.
Yes.
But I have less regard for her yellows. This may not go over very well, but we
let's time out right there. So in your contract that we discussed when we originally interviewed,
right?
In your contract, you can alter the yellows.
I can alter them. I can ignore them. I can take them away.
Yes.
She will always have reds.
Right.
She has a way to stop it.
With him saying, don't listen to the yellows, this is part of their dynamic. This is in their contract.
Right.
Yes. Go ahead.
And there's times I'll take them away. Maybe it's in the middle of it. All of a sudden it hits me where I'm like, I'm really into this. Let's see what I can do. Let's push her.
Right.
And again, no kind of less regard for how she feels about it.
Right.
And that gets me into, I remember about 2.5 years ago, probably, that I got into one of those mindsets and we had the most incredible scene and sex. And the moment I got done, I walked out into the hallway and I collapsed into the hallway onto the floor and I'm staring up at the ceiling and I'm trying to catch my breath.
Right.
I'm probably shaking a little bit. I'm sweating. It's just like all kind of I don't know how to describe it. That was dom space.
Right.
If I had to pick a time, there's probably been 3 or 4 times over the last 3 or 4 years that has been like that. But you made an interesting point because I can go from who you're talking to now to Dante as a dominant. It's black and white.
Right.
It's a sudden shift.
Right.
When this is what I'm doing.
Yep.
So is that dom space for me?
I mean, it could be. That I think I have experienced dom space one time.
The way I'm kind of describing it?
Yes. I honestly don't remember what all I'd done, but I remember afterwards. Now you've seen me with 20, 30, 40 people on the cross.
Right.
And I'm doing the flogging, I'm doing the electric wand, I'm doing everything. And when I'm done, I'm hot. I drink water. My arm's a little sore. My back's hurting a little bit, but I'm good. There was one night, and I can't remember what all happened that night, but it was with Lady D. I don't remember the scene. I couldn't tell you what I even done.
I couldn't either in that
but
one.
But afterwards, normally, I take her off the cross, give her the hugs, I set her down, I wrap her in a blanket or a towel. I get her water. I pack my shit up.
Mm-hmm.
That night, I had no energy.
You had nothing.
I had nothing. The scene was over, and it's kind of like I woke up, and I'm sitting going, "Fuck! I've never felt this way before. What the hell?" And it didn't dawn on me anything about dom space until the podcast came, and we were several episodes in, and then one day I was like, was that dom space for me? And now I hate it because I can't explain it. I can't even remember it.
Right, you can't remember.
I just remember the feeling
afterwards
yep. that I couldn't lift my arms. They were heavy. They were 500 pounds apiece. I couldn't lift them. The only thing I could do was sit and breathe.
And I don't think it was a physical thing, at least mine. I'm a fit guy.
Bullshit. Yes.
Yes, I could go hikes for hours at a time or go work out for hours at a time. Right. And I could still go mow the grass after a workout.
Right.
And it wasn't like our scene it wasn't like I was squatting her or lifting her up to the ceiling the whole time or anything. Maybe swinging a flogger and throwing her around the bed.
Right.
But physically exhausted.
Yeah.
Doing 10% of what I've done before and kept going.
Yep.
Just physically exhausted. But it's got to be a mindset.
It is. It has to be. So yes, I'm glad you brought that up because again, that was, I want to do a whole episode on dom space, but I've got to be able to find people that can actually explain it, actually talk about how we've had the submissives. What does subspace feel like? Mm-hmm. I know Lady D's talked about it. We had Jade on. She's talked about it. I want to get more on because everybody's subspace is different. Everybody's subdrop is different. That is something that is so important in a DS relationship is the subspace, the subdrop, the aftercare. Nobody talks about dom space. But then I want to do this episode, but who do I ask? Who remembers? Who can actually say what it feels? It's not something you experience every time.
I don't think I could do it. I could speculate.
Right.
I couldn't give you much more than what I just gave you now.
It's totally different for submissives. They reach subspace hell of a lot more than we reach dom space.
I'm glad you didn't say easier because I thought you were going to say easier.
No.
They just do it more often.
They do it. They can accomplish their subspace better and more than what we can. And
is that because they let go? So when I described mine, that was me letting go.
That was you letting go.
Inhibition's gone.
Yes. So how are they connected?
But we don't get to be able to let go that often.
Normally, no.
We're the responsible party.
Well, and if we let go too much, where's the safety?
Right.
Where's the thoughts of this in our contract? Is this within our boundaries?
I've never come close to that, what I describe as dom space with anyone else.
Right.
And if it wasn't for the kind of trust and negotiations and rules and boundaries, I couldn't have done it with her. Right. I could not do it with anyone else.
Right. And you take even then, it didn't happen, but you take even then, if you had done something that you all haven't pre-discussed and you all haven't set boundaries on, with the dynamic and the relationship you have, it wouldn't be an automatic end to it. There may have been a discussion. She may have said, why did you do this? We haven't talked about this.
I would be the one.
But if you was able to tell her that, hey, I feel like I was in dom space and I fully let go, she would be more understanding to why that happened versus somebody you don't have that relationship with. And again, maybe this is just, our perspective. Maybe we haven't talked to enough doms to know maybe there's doms out there that has dom space every time they play. Yeah. So on that note, I'm going to throw it back to you all at home. If you are a dom and you experience dom space, shoot me a message. Comment on this podcast episode. I want to talk to you. All right, moving back on. This is not on the list. Primal and Prey. Have you done it? What are your thoughts on it? We've had Gray and Evie on, and they talked about Primal and Prey and kind of their conception of how they would like to do it. I have my idea of how I would like to do it. Have you done it? Is it something you would like to do?
Primal to me is animalistic. It goes back to our core instincts.
Yes.
Fight or flight.
Yes.
And I remember because there's hints of that in our play sometimes.
Okay.
I think we were talking about growling. We just before we did this, we were growling. I'm like, your growl's 10 times better. But if you're in the moment and you start growling, that's kind of primal to me. Yes. I remember one specific time, Zora and I were playing, and it was right after I'd moved in to our new house, and one of the rooms was bare. It was just carpet. There's nothing in there. I think we had an air mattress. We were still sleeping on an air mattress before we got all of our new stuff in and set. It
Right.
might have been the first couple of days we lived there. And it started out wrestling.
Okay.
I think we were just sitting there. None of this was planned.
Right.
We're just sitting there BSing. I don't know, later in the night, probably after we had dinner, we were kind of winding down. And we started poking and prodding at each other and kind of laughter. And then it got to the point where we're actually wrestling.
Mhm.
She's using 100% of her strength, and we're
To overpower you.
to
Try
overpower me.
you. Yeah.
So we're going back and forth, and we did that for a good 30 minutes. And I'm like,
Right.
we're scratching each other. I don't think she's ever been as aggressive as she was that night. Actually ended up with a bloody eye that night.
Holy shit. You or her?
I did.
Oh, fuck.
I did that. So it was just an instinctual
Right.
fight or flight type response, and where you both chose fight that
Right.
night.
Right.
And I eventually overpowered her, and we had a great like sexual experience after that. But that
Right.
whole 20, 30-minute span where it's like, this is type
Right.
stuff, you know?
Right.
So yeah, there's some of that in our day-to-day type play or our normal sessions, but to that degree, Primal is just, it just happens.
Right.
I just feel it sometimes and it comes out.
Gotcha. It's something I would like to do. I mean, we talk about, finding woods, letting the submissives go out, and then the doms have to chase them and find them. And,
Okay. Yeah.
So that's an idea that we have. But, like me and Lady D discussed, there's a certain age that you get to in life that you really start asking questions. Of course, my questions would be is, what if one of us falls and breaks an ankle? How many ticks are out there in the woods? I really prefer not to have a tick get on my dick. You've got all this stuff that I don't run. I will never run. If you see me running, your ass better start running because something bad's behind me. So we have got all
So I
of
just got to be
this.
faster than you.
Yes, you just got to be faster than me. Exactly. So, it's something that I think I would enjoy doing. But then you've got all the questions, where are we at? Whose place are we on? How dangerous is it? What all's in the woods? I mean, there's poisonous snakes, there's poisonous spiders, there's all this shit. Poison ivy. Yeah, get that on the fucking ball sack. See how you feel. So there's all of that goes on, but you put it into a perspective of primal prey in the house while you're playing. And I honestly, I didn't think of it that way, but that's a good point.
Well, before we go back to that, the what you described, everyone has a different risk profile. So your risk profile might not include the chance of poison ivy on your ball sack.
Right.
And that's okay. But you gotta communicate, and everyone, when you do a scene like that, talk about those risks.
Right.
Because something could happen that's out of nowhere you didn't expect, but you can cover 80-90% of it and decide before you even do it, is this something I'm willing to risk?
Right.
But going back to the in-home stuff, it's kind of like dom space. It's a mindset.
Right.
You get into certain mindsets, and that keeps it interesting, because a lot of times we'll do a certain thing. We get into a groove, even with our BDSM stuff. But then one night, just like, she's putting up a fight, I'm gonna fight back harder.
Right.
And it's not our normal kind of,
dynamic.
There's something more there.
Right.
Maybe we're just extra horny. I don't know.
I like that. Maybe the mask I got for y'all's party, maybe I could use that one night.
Yeah.
Primal prey. That would be awesome.
Well, you could also play it up like that. You could just walk in one day with the mask and be like, "This is what we're doing."
Right.
And she goes, "Oh my God, don't take me.
Right.
He's coming to get me."
Exactly. I didn't know your voice could get that high.
Oh, I have all kinds of talents.
Obviously. All right. You got anything else you want to add? Any other questions? Anything to?
This was supposed to be a conversation. I feel like you interviewed me for most of it.
No, well,
I had a lot of words this time.
Most of it was a conversation.
Oh gosh.
Anything else for the wonderful listeners at home? No,
I don't think so. I don't think so. I've already learned a lot about you.
All right.
Here.
I've learned even more about you.
Yeah, this is wild. We talk all the time.
I mean, we've known each other over 3 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's amazing still the details and the information that we get from each other on that, which is, you said it a while ago, finding your community. We talked about it before in the past several episodes, how important community is. And that's the reason why. Even when you think you know everything there is to know about your friends or anybody that you're with, taking the time to sit down, shoot the shit. So much more to be learned. I've learned a lot from this. I'm sure our people listening or watching on YouTube has learned a lot. So I greatly appreciate it. This won't be the last time we do this. There's going to be more.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Yes, it was. But again, thank you. Thank you at home for watching. Thank you at home for listening. Drop us a comment. We're going to have Sir Dante back. What do you want us to talk about? What do you want to know more about him? I'm sure I'm going to want to know it too. Let us know. Until then, you all have a great week.
Please follow, like, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.